Hello and welcome to a special episode of Box Office Receipts. I'm your host Tyler Callahan, and last weekend we had San Diego Comic-Con, where Kevin Feige unveiled the movies for Phase 4. There was a good amount shown, so I thought it would be fun to take a look at the competition some of these movies will be facing when they come out. Now I do have to point out that for the ones in 2021 it will be harder to do as not many movies have been announced yet for that year. But let's start off with something more concrete, and that is May 2020. Kicking off the summer movie season next year is Black Widow, the first movie in Phase 4. This is a prequel movie starring obviously Black Widow, and from what was shown at Comic-Con, it seems to be a more grounded action movie, just like the Bourne movies, which makes sense. So what is coming out around it? Well, assuming nothing changes, after Black Widow we have a Barbie movie starring Margot Robbie. Then, right before Memorial Day, we have Fast and Furious 9, which has substituted The Rock for John Cena. Then the next superhero movie would be on June 5th, 2020, where Wonder Woman 1984 comes out. So assuming this holds, then Black Widow has a good window of making money, as its main competition won't be until 3 weeks after with Fast and Furious 9. My early prediction for it is $230 million domestic and around $800 million worldwide. Next movie coming out is The Eternals. Now, at first, you may be like, oh, well, this won't do much because people don't know who they are. That doesn't matter for Marvel Studios, as they turned the Guardians and Ant-Man, who were nobodies, and made them hits. That does not matter. And with the cast backing this up, now this does come out in November 2020, and right now it actually has little to no competition. The biggest movies for that month is a Clifford the Big Red Dog movie, based on a children's book series, if you remember that. I know I do, read it as a kid. The other movie is Warner Brothers' Dune, which is a sci-fi movie with a stellar cast as well. However, as far as I know, Dune is a much more serious sci-fi movie, especially compared to the MCU, so really the Eternals is opening at a great time. It's the perfect movie for everyone, while people with other movie tastes will see the other ones. So my early prediction is around $300 million domestic and $1.05 billion. I think if this gets popular worldwide, it will absolutely hit $1 billion. I don't think that'll be a problem for quite a few Marvel movies. February 2021 is our next stop with Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. This is going to feature the first Asian superhero for the MCU, and if Black Panther is any indication, look for Shang-Chi to make a big hit. Now here is where competition gets harder to predict. Also coming out in February is Sony's version of Cinderella, which, I know Cinderella is a public domain IP, so anyone can make a Cinderella movie, but for the most part people associate it with Disney, so it'll be hard for it to break out because of that. But they try and set it in modern day, maybe it might work, but that's a hard one to get a read on. The other big movie is an untitled WB event film. What that means is that Warner Brothers has put their foot down on this date for one of their bigger movies that year, but has not actually announced what it would be. Fantastic Beasts 3 is later in the year, so it's not that. My guess would be it's another DC movie. What exactly, I have no idea. Maybe Shazam 2, as that would be almost 2 years since the first one. Maybe the Black Adam movie with The Rock, that's been in the work for years. Or it could be nothing, maybe they just pulled the date. Now there will be some other movies coming out that have not been announced yet, but I think it is safe to say Shang-Chi will be a hit worldwide. My very early prediction is $350 million domestic and $1.1 billion worldwide. This should hit big with the Asian population in America and around the world. And if Captain Marvel and Black Panther can both pass $1 billion, this should be no different. Next up is the movie for the summer with Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, opening May 7th, 2021. Again, right now it is light, with the only announced films being John Wick Chapter 4, coming out 2 weeks later, and then for Memorial Day weekend is an untitled Disney live-action movie, which will probably be a live-action remake. Now, I'm completely talking out of my ass here, but if I actually had to place a guess on which one it would be, I'm thinking it would be the Little Mermaid remake, as it is big enough to get a prime summer slot, and they are working on casting now. It would not surprise me at all, with D23 being next month, if they unveil the official cast and give it a date. My very early prediction for Doctor Strange is $320 million domestic and $980 million worldwide. While I expect this to be big, they are billing this as the first scary MCU movie with what Doctor Strange and Scarlet Witch will have to go through. Parents may hold back on taking their real younger kids to this movie because of that, but we will have to see how scary it is, because it will not be a straight up horror movie. But, again, we'll have to see. If it's not as scary as they're advertising, I can see it hitting $1 billion, no problem. But based on what they're saying, just under. The last movie for Phase 4 is Thor: Love and Thunder. This is being released in November 2021, just like how Thor Ragnarok was released in November 2017. Right now, its biggest competition will be Fantastic Beasts 3, as they both fight for the same demographics. However, I do think even if Fantastic Beasts 3 fixes the problems the franchise has at the moment, Thor will make a ton more, and plus, also featuring a female Thor, if done right, it's gonna kill it at the box office. For other movies, there is a Dungeons & Dragons movie from Paramount, and for Thanksgiving, you have your usual Disney animated movie. What will it be? That one I actually have no idea. They couldn't really put anything. Maybe Wreck-It Ralph 3, I don't know. The last two came out in November. My early prediction for Thor Love and Thunder is $380 million and $1.05 billion. This will be the first Thor movie to pass $1 billion, thanks to the work done in Ragnarok, Infinity War, and Endgame. So those are my early thoughts on how the Phase 4 movies will do. How do you think they'll do? Which ones do you think will be better or worse than the others? Let me know on Instagram at Tyler Callahan Media, and on Twitter at Tyler Callahan. Links to both are in the description below. Or if you're watching this on YouTube, in the comments below, let me know. And that's it for another episode of Box Office Receipts. See you next week.